and something in the way you make me feel. In 1981, she won a Grammy Award for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for Never Knew Love Like This Before. Then, in 1982, she won an American Music Award for Favorite Soul Female Artist. In 2015, she was cast as Aunt Em in the NBC live musical of The Wiz, 40 years after her initial Broadway appearance in the production. She is the recipient of multiple NAACP Image Awards, and she's taken on the mantle of creating community conversations across the country, focusing on saving lives in the Black community. Ladies and gentlemen, stand to your feet and get ready to feel good all over, because tonight you're going to learn to respect the power of love. And when it's done, it's going to feel like home. Put your hands together for the incomparable Stephanie Mills.
All right, family, that was the Heart and Soul Music Festival 2023 with Stephanie Mills, and coming up on in about a few weeks down in Orlando, Florida, is the 2024 Heart and Soul Music Festival. And Muskegon, you know, you were invited to come down, type in that code ski town to get that discount if you're from Muskegon and coming to the Heart and Soul Music Festival, the largest old school music festival in Central Florida. And we can't wait. We can't wait. Today's guest inside the Drive at 5, of course, we're live on social media, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitter, all those. Today's guest is not really a guest. We just ain't had a chance to kick it in a minute. That's right. The Honorable Judge Gregory C. Pittman is in the building, sir. My honor.
Hey,
you looking good?
Paul.
You looking good?
Robert.
Judge.
And we got to share this. The reason why is not the judge's fault. It's my schedule that's been crazy. Otherwise, we've had him on every 2 weeks for the past 2 years. But it's tough when you know you might not have Wi-Fi on Spirit Airlines.
Might not have a seat.
Right, might not have a seat.
Your bag might be too big.
So it's been a while, Judge, and I don't even know where to start. We definitely got to get into the campaign.
Okay.
But what's new with you?
Hey, man, nothing really new. This campaign is encompassing. You know, it takes up a lot of oxygen. Takes up a lot of oxygen, man. You know. So listen, you talk about the Soul Festival in Florida. We were planning to come.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh
No
man,
question.
we could have put him on
Because
stage.
we missed
Oh,
it
yeah.
in 23.
Mhm.
We made, my wife and I, we were absolutely going to come, but
I think some of
that's
your
in the midst of the campaign.
exactly. The White Vine's your classmate, right?
No, 2 years before.
Oh, okay. All right.
77.
Because he came in and a lot of folks.
Are we losing?
Yeah, it's not a lot of people came that was around his time frame.
Yeah.
But and we're live on Facebook, we're live on radio, and definitely gonna do some Q&A if you want to say hello to the judge, and any questions for the judge. Because we judge them got quite a bit of awards since the last time we talked too. We got to talk about this award. Matter of fact, I think you just got one from the state of Michigan, right?
Yes, sir. I was acknowledged for the work that I've done in this kinship care area of working with foster children and kids who've been displaced. We're really trying to open up more avenues to that the state would get engaged in the idea of letting kids who've been removed or who are not in their home, their natural home, to be able to find a place with their kinship care, and that sounds, most of the folks who are probably listening saying, well, that's what we do. And that is what we do. That's how a whole lot of us were raised, man.
Right.
And somebody who just took us in because whoever was responsible for us wasn't in a good position. But the deal with it is that at the state level, when the state is involved, there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump in order to be in that position.
Right.
And we're trying to remove those barriers as much as possible, man, and get it to the idea that children, even though they don't have their natural, if you will, so to speak, home, are with familiar, hopefully family type people, so they don't lose the connection. They don't lose their culture. They don't lose, their identity and who they are, that kind of thing.
Wow. Tawana Bowie says, that's my personal favorite judge of all time.
Well, that's my personal favorite Tawana Bowie of all the time, right there.
All right.
Love
all right.
her. Thank you.
That award came from the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
So it has to make you feel really good when MHHS put your name on the award.
Department of Health and Human Services. Yep. They that came out of after the time I spent 2 years. I spent 2 years as co-chair of the Children's Welfare Improvement Task Force. I was assigned to that by the department at the order of the governor. So myself and a brother on the other side of the state, a guy named Michael Williams, we served as co-chairs for 2 years in trying to develop some movement for the department to be able to do things that we all know kind of make sense, but they have to work through all of the
red tape,
there you go. Best words you could have come up with, all the red tape. And we were trying to find ways to help cut through some of that red tape. So proud of that. Thank you.
How are things down at is it a Kabza?
Hall
of Justice?
Kabza. Mike Kabza.
Are we getting justice down there? Any justice for us?
At all?
At all?
Well,
I know you can't answer that.
No, man. No. Justice is absolutely in the building.
It's in the building. Okay.
It is absolutely in the building.
Okay.
You have to be vigilant. You have to be purposeful. You have to be focused. You have to, really appreciate what the end game is going to be for you. And I think justice is found there. Can be found.
You were an advocate for the public defender's office, right?
This new public defender, or the public defender's
the original
office?
one. We got the big budget and we separated, and Fred Johnson now.
Oh yeah. I led the search committee.
Okay,
for the public defender's office.
Right, I thought so, and I was like,
I'm responsible for leading the hiring of Fred Johnson for the public defender.
Wow, how is since that was been in place? Do you think that has leveled the playing field as much as it can?
To this extent, I believe that the public defender's office now is getting the resources that they need to be able to provide a good and verifiable defense for people who have to have a public defender for their attorney. And that wasn't always the case before this public defender's office came into being. As a matter of fact, this public defender's office came in anticipation and heading off of a major lawsuit that was going to be filed on behalf of those who were indigent. And because of what were the perceived legal inadequacies of the prior public defender system, the county administration that was under Bonnie Hammersley at the time, if you remember her,
Bonnie, yes.
She did a yeoman's job in saying, we are going to address this now, quickly and fully, so that we can be prepared not only for the future, but to also sort of head off what was coming in this lawsuit. And we in Muskegon County sort of became the template for how these offices were created around the state for counties like Muskegon that did not have an adequate, legally adequate public defender system.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You've done a lot, man. Just it's been a while since
I ain't just been hanging around.
Yeah, you've done a lot. I was going back checking some receipts like on our website, things from 2012. You speaking out, challenging the community of Muskegon Heights when the school was going through its tough times, and you told the community this is not going to be the same. We got to look how we look at things now. It's going to be different. And we did the State of Black Muskegon. You hosted that event, and the jail, the juvenile detention center. Yeah,
well, the JDC came out of that same time period that the public defender's office also came around, and as well as the new jail. And we had a juvenile detention center that was way up in Whitehall, and it became really prohibitive for people to even be able to see their teens who were in that facility. They couldn't even get to Whitehall.
Wow.
So the effort was made to relocate that facility, and we were able to access that Baker College campus and create that juvenile detention center that's there now. And we repurposed it a bit. We built it, and it was built into these pods. And we have 3 different pods, and you can have 3 different types of programming going on at the same time. Some of it is strictly for traditional detention. Some of it is for residential treatment, so to speak, for young people. And we even had space where if we did not have everybody, or did not have to need the capacity, we were available for other counties to be able to utilize our space, at a cost to them. So it had a little bit of a money-making component to it as well.
Wow. What's been your proudest moment as a
God.
I know it's a lot, right?
Man,
maybe top 3.
Oh,
jurist.
I wish you had sent me that before.
He's a jurist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
No, you try.
I served on the juries. They were jurists.
Jurist.
The mic.
Oh, I thought they were jurists.
Here we go.
No, he's a jurist because
Jurist.
in 2018, the CASA program gave him the Jurist of the Year.
Yeah.
Oh,
You remember that, Rob?
Yeah.
I remember that, but I thought he served eloquently on the jury.
In 2018, the CASA gave him the Jurist of the Year.
Yeah.
And because of your advocacy and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. That was a kind moment. That's a great moment, for that state agency, statewide agency, to consider me as the jurist of the year.
Do you walk around with a dictionary? Because I would love to see you and Michael Eric Dyson have a and Cornell West have a conversation, just a regular old conversation.
We have Dave Burton and we have an interpreter on the side. We do the sign language.
Yeah, with a dictionary.
We have the urban dictionary on the side. Well, this is what this means.
I love Michael Eric Dyson, man. I'm not sure what's going on with Cornell these days.
I like Cornell.
Oh, I love him.
I like that he's pushing them.
I love him, but
he's the Gaza thing, which is I don't think.
Well, listen, stop. I can't get into politics.
Oh, you can't.
I can't do it. Nope.
Listen,
there's too many people out there, PA.
All right, we can't talk politics.
Who are sitting with pen and paper.
Oh, everything you say.
And they are ready to pounce on whatever I say. I don't know if they don't have a life. I don't know what their problem is. So I'm going to have to stay. We used to take some chances, didn't we?
Oh
Back in the day,
man,
we took some chances.
Well, me and PA will talk about it.
Another time. We ain't gonna do it like this, but they try to associate him with us.
Oh, you think so?
I'm radical. You radical. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
no.
Anyway,
and I love y'all.
Yeah, and we love you.
But his
no
opinions
question.
is not ours, and our opinions is not his. You know, we all got our own opinion. But I get you.
Yeah, I better stay out of that. I just was speaking on the. No, man, I can't. I can't.
All because I would love to see him and Cornell West and Michael Eric Dyson have a conversation.
Oh,
would y'all understand each other? Because Michael Eric Dyson got some words for you, boy.
Well, not only that, but he's quick.
Right? Yes.
You know, you might get but that brother, man, I've never heard him say ever. I mean, when you just listen to him.
No, you don't. Even doing interviews like this.
Goes.
Yes.
You know, brilliant brothers. Sharp. Both of them sharp brothers. Man.
Big Rich Dora said, Uncle Judge Pittman, a living legend and pillar in our community. The vernacular that would be used in that conversation between Judge MED and Cornell West would be nothing short of a showcase of our intellectual prominence in our community.
Oh man, yeah. Thank you, man.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, you do. You dropped some words. And when did you become this lyricist, perfectionist that you are today?
1977, Jerry Harris's classroom.
Oh,
did you know a man who appreciated our language better than him?
Exactly. No.
And taught all of us, or at least made it available to all of us. Yeah. That man was an absolute legend. Let me share this story. I share this all the time. I shared it with him quite often. When I went to Michigan State as a undergrad, back then you had to take placement tests. You had to literally go and test for a couple of days. Math, science, language, and I tested out of the freshman language requirements because of Jerry Harris. So they used to, remember the old computer pages that it was green here and it was lighter here and then green here, and you'd have the little stars out to the percentile that you. I went all the way to the edge of the page because of Jerry Harris. Wow. Now, when it was math time, I didn't have any stars.
That's where I maxed out at.
Oh man, there you go. There you go. I had no stars, man. So I started Michigan State math. College classes are numbered.
Yes,
1s and 2s are first couple years, 3s and 4s, and I started math in 082 math. And I did not appreciate that the zero meant remedial.
Yeah, that's what it meant.
Just say the zero meant remedial.
So I started
I
didn't get to 1 yet. I was at 082.
Wow. But you knew your weakness, and I'm sure your math game is tight now.
It's tight enough.
It's tight enough.
Tight enough, PA.
He can add and subtract real quick.
Right, exactly. So we're very close to election.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, if you win this election, is
Mhm.
this your last term?
When I win this election.
When you win this election,
Um,
it's gonna be your last term, or you gonna do a couple?
no, I'm not saying that. I could serve at least another term after I win this term.
So you're not aged out.
No, not aged out. I'm a pretty young dude still, man. You know,
You still can walk without any help.
I can do a whole lot of things without.
So you feel good.
I feel great. I feel great. I'm I'm at my high school weight.
Really?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm about 175 pounds.
Wow.
That's good.
I
Congratulations.
feel so. I didn't say that to I'm to brag. I'm saying that my condition is phenomenal. I'm everything that I'm supposed to be on that bench.
So what is your diet?
What is my diet?
Yeah.
I don't really do anything special. I do exercise a lot more. I get up and run a couple miles.
You run a couple miles
3-4 times a week. Yep.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm impressed.
I don't eat a lot anymore. I'm not hungry like that anymore, man. If you're impressed, you should see my wife, man. You haven't seen Kay in a while.
I haven't.
Man, that girl fine.
Shout out to
Man,
Shout out to
she's looking good, boy. I'm
So
telling
y'all
you.
work out together?
No, not really.
Okay.
We probably one of us would kill the other one, probably.
Man,
she
how
she
many-
takes care of herself and does her thing. Cooks well for us. Yeah,
You back to your high school weight.
yeah, man.
That's
Yeah.
a win right there.
That's
man.
a win, brother.
If everybody watching, listening could get down to their high school weight.
Bro, I need to lose another 120 pounds.
Like, I'm 70.
Cool
It's
way.
70 for me.
You closer than I am.
I was carrying a little weight in high school, so that.
So is there going to be a debate between you and your
Oh,
partner, Turner
man.
and yours?
I don't. I mean, at this point, we're 43 days, or as cats say in prison, we 43 and a get up
Mhm.
away from the election, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. We were just recently invited by the Muskegon County Bar Association, the Bar Association, the lawyers in this community who wanted to do a debate. And it wasn't going to just be with the lawyers. They were going to open it up to the public. It was going to be a big deal. And I accepted, and she declined. And let me say this about that, if you don't mind, if I can do a little open field running for a second. That would be, at my count, that would be at least the fourth, possibly the fifth attempt to bring myself and her together in a public forum to speak to the voters about this election, which I think is the right thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
I absolutely think that's the right thing to
The
do.
people deserve it.
Yeah, I talked to a very incredibly intelligent woman today, and she says, I just want to know more. She says, I think I know who I'm voting for. And then she said, I'm voting for you. But I'd like to know more.
Right.
And I think people want that, and they deserve that at every level, from every office where there is a contest for that office. Those contestants, those campaigners should be able to stand up in front of an audience, tell them why they're running, tell them why they're the best choice, and then be able to respond to the questions and comments that those folks have to make. It's not about yard signs and bus stops and billboards, because those don't make decisions. Those don't literally change the arc of a person's life by how they process the information they receive and then respond to it. You can only get appreciation of that from somebody talking to you and telling you who they are, and then being able to be challenged about what it is that they've said. So, but to decline the invitation of the lawyers in this community, and you're a lawyer who wants to be a judge who these lawyers are going to have to ply their trade in front of, but you won't talk to them and answer their questions and allow feedback. It just boggles the mind.
Maybe we can get a church to do the debate. Maybe we can get who else, Rob?
I will say this. I'll say
no
this.
comment because the judge is here now. When he's gone, it's just me and you. I'll comment on that.
Well, I'll say this. I will meet anywhere at any time with any organization organizing the forum. You can pick the moderator, you can pick the subject matter, whatever. I will do that. I will gladly do that. As a matter of fact, we were in court on the injunction that I filed because of the false and misleading flyers that she's distributed. And unlike what was reported on MLive or by some of these internet information givers, the case is not dead. The case is far from dead. It is at the point now where the judge is preparing to provide the opinion that will then take us to the next step. And that case is probably going to go, it will go beyond the election now, unfortunately. So here's what we offered in the course of that hearing. Let's just withdraw the entire case. Costs us time, money, effort. I'll withdraw the case that I'm going to win eventually in return for simply one public debate. You agree to one public debate.
Wow.
We can get rid of this lawsuit. We'll be done with it. You don't have to pay your lawyer anymore. I don't have to pay my lawyer anymore. I don't know what her bill is up to. My bill is up north of $10,000, $12,000 already. Just agree to a public debate. How did we get there? We got there because her lawyer spoke about the idea that the case that I filed, well, it shouldn't be here in this court because it should be debated in the public forum as candidates for office. So you heard it, right? It should be debated in the public forum. So my lawyer, Sharp, says, well, I tell you what, we'll dismiss the case right now. We can withdraw the pendency of this case in return for that public debate in that public forum. And Kendra wasn't there. She didn't come to that hearing. I was there. And so the lawyer then got a little nervous and backtracked on. Well, what I meant was, I'm not saying I know I'm going to get a complaint of a filing or something from one of these people with the pens and papers who's going to accuse me of lying again. But it's in the transcript. It's in the record. And what he said was, well, send us something formally and I'll take it to my client. So we did. And I'm about 99% certain that she's going to decline because the people who are advising her are telling her, don't stand on the same stage with him. And they're telling her that because tactically, it's not a good place for her to be.
That's Kendra Lamar up in here. All right.
Not like us.
WVS LP 1037 Muskegon Heights. We got the Honorable Judge Pittman in the studio. We live on Facebook and we live on radio. It's been a while since we had Judge Pittman. So we gone above our 30-minute we had allocated. It's a conversation between friends. We're from the same neighborhood, same schools, grew up together. And this dialogue is necessary. If you got a question for the judge, he's not running, and we didn't prep for anything. We never prepped. We never prepped for his show when he's on radio. We just came on
And just did it.
Just did it. So if you got a question for him, you can type it in online, and I'm sure the judge would address. Rob, you got anything for the judge? Could I roll off a few more?
No, not really. I'm trying to get to his language. You know,
for me and you, that we have to start over.
But Judge, why is it? Why? Well, I can't ask that.
Well, maybe
but
ask it. If I can't answer it, I'll let you know.
Why? Because we've reached out to your opponent.
Certainly.
Tried to ask your opponent to do what you're doing right now, as well as do a debate. And every time, except for one time, they agreed, then they backed out.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't the people see two people who are going to be making life-changing decisions on other people not come before the people?
We're in such an incredibly strange space these days, you know, and seriously, campaigning has become, how many signs can you buy and put in people's yards, or in certain situations put in these open spaces, and look like you're everywhere all across the county, and then get on Facebook or YouTube and make these incredibly gratuitous videos where you speak in terms that nobody can challenge. For instance, one of the things my opponent likes to say is that she's experienced. And if we were standing together and I was given the opportunity, I would simply say, experienced in what? You've never tried one probate court case in your life, but you want to be a probate court judge. You've never tried a divorce, but you want to be a family court judge. You've never handled a child support matter. You've never handled a paternity action. You've never handled a parenting time dispute, but you want to be a family court judge. So you got years, and that's not a lot of them. You won't have 7 years until November 16th, if I'm not mistaken, because I was one of the people who stood up in court as required by the Bar Association to vouch for her veracity and to move her into the bar. And that was November of 2016. So you have now, I think, 7 years, soon to be 8. She has 7, soon to be 8 years. But it's all been in one job, which is fine. I got no problem with that. I don't think anybody has a problem with that, especially if you like what you're doing and you're good at it. But if you want to be a judge, I think you need to have a breadth of experience. When I was appointed by Governor Engler in 1998, I was the youngest of the 4 people who were at that final stage. I had, at that time, 7 years practice. But in those 7 years, I did public defender work. I did corporate counsel, assistant corporate counsel for the county of Muskegon. We represented Muskegon Heights municipality. We represented Muskegon Heights public schools. I did assistant work for Norton Shores and for the city of Roosevelt Park. I did divorce work. I did some juvenile work. I was a guardian ad litem in a certain number of cases. I did workers' comp work. Are we hearing what's?
Yeah, a lot of work.
I did a lot of things.
Did you mention the prosecutor's office?
Well, my prosecutor's office time was right before I passed the bar.
Okay. All right.
So I don't even count that.
All right.
Although, yes, I did. I was I worked in the prosecutor's office here, and I worked in my very first formal legal job was in the prosecutor's office in Marion County in Indianapolis, right out of IU. I wasn't a member of the bar yet, so I don't count that. You know, I think my opponent does count those things as part of her experience. What's my point? It's not that I'm complaining or crying. It is that if you're going to be in this kind of a position, you need to have a multiplicity of experiences, because you're going to have to call on those things when these lawyers are bringing this thing fast and hard, and you got to at least be able to draw on the experience you've had.
Right. Wow. Honorable Judge Pittman, we got a question from you. Jackie Ray said, "Hey, Judge, please share your thoughts on using mediation."
Mediation is absolutely the wave. It is a very efficient way to help litigate cases. I use mediation quite often in helping to settle divorce cases. As a matter of fact, okay, so thank you for that, because you teed this up for me. In 2022 or 23, I can't remember the exact year. I think it was 22, beginning of 22. No, beginning of 23. I attended the National Judicial College in Nevada, at the University of Reno, Nevada, Reno, and was certified as a mediator. I have that in my. You can't be a mediator without being certified. You have to have a full course to be able to engage in mediation. And simply, mediation is the idea of, instead of coming to court to litigate and argue in front of a judge traditionally, you take your matters to a person who's trained to try to find a midpoint, trying to find a resolution. And they have a lot more time for you to get into things that you cannot bring into a court setting because of the rules of evidence and court procedure and that kind of thing. So mediation I think is an incredibly valuable tool that has been embraced and is growing exponentially all across the country, certainly in Michigan.
Wow. There are some people that you have helped that are supporting your opponent, I believe, that I think you really, really helped. And and we haven't talked about this, but I just need to be on record and ask you this question. I'm sorry.
I still got a question about November. You know what you? But
go to yours. Go to yours, and I come back with mine. Because mine is heart wrenching.
Oh, okay. You mean to tell me, Judge, you stood up and vouched for Kendra?
Yeah. There were two of us, and she asked me. I can bring you the email. This isn't. I'm just not making this up. I can bring you the email when I responded back to Judge Marietti, who was conducting the swearing in, and told them, "Yes, I will be there. I've been asked to be a co-sponsor for Kendra, and it's wonderful. Glad you'll be there." I'm not when a sponsor speaks, their name is included on that attorney's bar admission certificate. Terry Nolan is on mine. Terry spoke for me, so his name is on my bar certificate, admission certificate. My name is not on hers because, as a sitting judge, I would not have been a practicing attorney. It was more ceremonial. It was more respect. It was more, I'm excited for her. She was excited for me. So it was the two of us, but the other attorney, I can't remember who it was.
Right.
His name is going to be on there. So, his name isn't on my admission certificate. That's why. But yes, I did that.
Wow.
I did that. I thought it was an honorable thing to do. I was excited to do it. I was happy for her. And that was the beginning of what was a relationship.
Wow. When Terry Nolan, I think he had lost his license to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Did you help with him at any type?
Absolutely.
What role did you?
Matter of fact, when Terry was going through the legal cases, I literally went and sat with him in Grand Rapids at the courthouse while he was waiting for the case to be brought. There were, that's how tight we were. That's how much I, really was hoping that things would turn out well, and they have. Thank God, they have turned out well for him, and he's back. And one of the most talented lawyers I ever saw.
Right.
He could handle a jury trial like no other.
But for you to never forget that.
No.
And even we all have trials and we all have tribulations in our life. It's just like me with Paul. You know, there's nothing I wouldn't do for him.
Yes, sir.
Because in my troubles, in my trials, in my literal trials, and in my tribulations, I look back and he was there. Yeah. So you didn't go nowhere. You stood up.
Yeah. You helped him get his license back.
I mean, I support him. I'm not going, I'm not going to overblow who I am and what I did,
But you played a role.
Absolutely. I certainly supported Terry. There was certainly, in any situation like that, there are people who are not wanting to be forgiving or to, welcome back and that kind of thing. And I certainly recall being in judges meetings where, that issue would come up, and those types of things they come up amongst us, who's in trouble, who's this. And I know I spoke very vehemently that he deserves the opportunity to shed himself of this transgression. We've all done something. We've all fallen short.
Oh, the glory.
And he's put the work in, and he should be not only allowed to resume his practice, which is a decision for the Michigan Bar, but he should be welcomed back to his practice, which is a sort of a decision that we can personally make here in this circuit to welcome his presence back.
So were you surprised to see that he's supporting your opponent?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, the people have friendships, and their friendships go in a different place. I don't know why. I certainly don't understand why. As a seasoned lawyer, a person who really knows what the expectation should be from the judicial seat, it makes no logical sense, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Your decision to do what it is you decide to do is your decision. I'm just asking people to think logically about the decision that you're making, and take your emotion out of it. I don't know what the emotion is that causes that support, and that's not my business. And I'm not losing any sleep about it. But when the question would be asked, I don't think that you're going to get an answer that veers outside of it simply being a personal decision that he decided to make. You're not going to get a good argument about the idea that the community is better served by my being replaced by her on the bench. I'm not late for cases. My docket isn't clogged up. I'm good on the law. Appellate decisions against me are minimal. Been on the bench 26 years, and I think maybe I've had appellate decisions in some degree, maybe 6 or 7 times in 26 years after thousands of cases. So I'm good with all of that. I get decisions out on a timely basis. I'm consistent. One of the things that I was asked to do when I became a judge in 1998 by some of the old heads was, listen, we just need you to be consistent. If you're consistent in how you judge the same thing over and over, we can help our clients that much better. And any seasoned lawyer will tell you that's exactly what you want. It's not so much I agree or disagree with you, but at least I know where you're coming from. If I know that, then I know how to prepare my client and prepare my case and get the best result I can. That's what real lawyers want. Real lawyers, if I could take another tangent, want to argue their case. You hear me? You hear me talking now? I'm making my case. Mm-hmm. Real lawyers want to make their case. Real lawyers don't want to create platitudes and say things and put things out there. It's time for change and not explain why. Real lawyers don't say I should be voted into this job, but never show up to explain why. Here's what lawyers do. Here's what real lawyers do. Real lawyers take on the challenge. Real lawyers show up when the challenge has to be heard, and usually that's in court. And real lawyers are prepared to tell you why you should decide in their favor. Nobody can say that my opponent is acting like a real lawyer right now. She's not doing that.
Wow. Judge, I know you got a campaign going on. I don't know if you're taking fundraisers, you're taking donations, but I found this QR code on your website. For people that's watching online, I'm assuming that's the QR code to get some money.
Oh, it'll get you there.
It'll get you there. All right.
It'll get you there.
All right, that's the QR code. You cannot go out and personally ask for people to donate.
No, I cannot solicit donations. I'm not even going to solicit it. I'm not going to even respond to that. I'll leave it to you guys to say those things. Here's the other thing. Whatever is raised, if there's any money left over, I have to give it back either to those who contributed, or I have to give it over to a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit organization. Wow. So I don't have any money left over from 22 that, you know, is in the till, and we can start from there. Start from zero and you end at zero.
Wow.
Yeah. I just had to look up some of those words, platitude.
You know that.
No, bro. I see.
Well, this is killing me, man. It's time. It's time for change. It's time for change. Why? Just simply saying it's time for change. Change for the sake of simply change is idolatry.
Yeah. That's been
I know what that means.
It's idolatry.
That's been a political term for years.
Oh yeah.
As if you're a dinosaur. First of all, you got a Will Judge up in there every day. He just tell me running 2 miles a day. I can't even do that.
You ride a bike for 30 miles.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna run no 2 miles.
Yeah, I get those couple of, but man, I'm telling you, you know, my wife said, okay, now be cool when you go on radio, and I'm trying to be cool, but
right. And we didn't get a chance to prep on any of this conversation, so we just dived in, and actually we went over our time frame. We got Kerry Washington coming up from Scandal.
Oh my God, I'm in the way of Kerry Washington.
This is all good.
Man, y'all better get me out of here. And
she's coming up in a little bit on the radio station. Judge, anything else you want to say to the community?
You know, I mean, this is home, man. This is where I was born and raised, and you know, it troubled me that those campaign flyers went out and they attacked me and essentially attacked, you know, the quality of who I am, and not only me, but family and friends. You know, it's insulting. It's absolutely insulting. You can think what you want of me. You can have your opinion of me as you choose. That's your right. That's your privilege. You do not have the right to your own facts. You have a right to an opinion, but you don't have a right to the facts. And to start out and compete, and you're welcome to compete, but to start the competition from the perspective of let's try to drag him down as far as I can in order to be able to compete says a whole lot more about her than it does about me. There's a level of integrity and character I think that every judge must bring to the bench. And we're watching from day to day across the country judges who are not acting with integrity and what that looks like. Am I right?
Exactly.
We're seeing it. We're seeing it all the time. Yeah. I'm saying, you know, regardless of what you might think about a decision or even what you think of me personally, I have the integrity and the character that I think is unassailable. There's not one person, even these people who sit with this pen and paper trying to figure out how to make my life miserable every day, who can attack my character in a credible way. That's first thing. Second thing, and I'm going to stop. If you have decided, Kendra, to compete for this seat, then get off the porch, come down into the arena, and compete. Don't hide. Don't hide behind whatever it is that people are telling you that justifies the idea that you should not. Your YouTubes, your videos, your signage, all that kind of thing, do not speak for you when you should speak for yourself. If you're going to compete, then come on off the porch, come down where the big dogs are. Don't be a little yip yip puppy on the porch, and come and compete. Show up. I'll show up anywhere you ask that I show up to speak on the same place that you do about the things that you have indicated are important in this campaign. And PA, when you invite her again, and I know you will because that's what you do, you invite everybody.
Yeah.
When she says no, can I have her time?
Well, we're gonna get you back anyway. Hopefully, we can get her on.
No, I want her time.
You want her time?
Because then I'm going to talk about her like she should talk about her.
Yeah.
I've talked about me a whole lot today.
And I really believe that she's really definitely not giving herself justice, like turning down interviews, because there is, and I can say that she did come on M106 with Mary Beth M106 a couple
because
years
she thinks you guys are so tight with me.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's it.
I have an opinion, but we can't say it.
I believe that. I believe that's the reason why. And what an incredible miscalculation.
I treat her fairly. Hey, I am in the middle. I love Judge. But
Absolutely.
I would not have a guest come on and treat them unfairly.
Absolutely.
We can't do that in radio.
You got 20 some years under your belt.
22.
22.
And then more than that on TV.
So yeah.
That's not the DNA. So, Ms. Robinson, you definitely welcome to come on, having this conversation. I would love to see a debate between y'all two. That's what we've been doing for years.
Yeah.
We've done debates in our community.
Give it a number, Paul.
231-727-5007. Mr. Rudd, whoever's worked with the campaign, give us a holler. Don't wait till the last minute now, but let's make something happen. I believe our community deserves to see that. Alvin Spraggan's down in, I think he in the East Coast.
Yeah.
He's a solid dude. Y'all went to school together, right?
Right. Well, we grew up on the same block. He was around the corner, man.
There you go.
Scroggins, boy.
Judge, good seeing you.
Man, PA, good to see you.
My apologies for not.
No apologies necessary.
As much as I should.
No apologies necessary.
It's just because, you.
We live in seasons.
Yes.
And you had a season.
Yeah.
Where you had to take care of and do some things that you had to do. The love never dies.
Exactly.
You know,
as long as you know that.
Hey man, it never dies. And anybody who doesn't know that we are in love with each other,
yeah,
you mistaken. And that's never gonna die. But that doesn't mean you're not gonna get treated fairly.
Right. And every year, the Judge and his wife have donated to the Kids Reach Out to Africa since the beginning. And never asked for any acknowledgement or anything.
Matter of fact,
just drop off a check.
Right. They asked for no acknowledgement.
Yeah, so I want to thank you for that.
Hey.
Go ahead before we go.
Judge,
yes, sir.
Thank you for everything you do for this community.
Thank you.
If enough of the community don't say it to you, I want to publicly say that to you.
I appreciate that.
We have been fair with every political candidate that comes on, whether we agree or disagree. Sure. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party. Go ahead, Paul. What else? All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. We have been fair. So I hope Kendra Robinson takes this opportunity to come on here and speak to the people.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you for coming.
Well, that's what professionals do, man. And y'all, we have a lot of fun. Yeah. Y'all have a lot of fun, but you guys are professional here, man.
We try to.
Real
we
people.
Do the same to her and any other candidates.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Gigan. Keep it locked to 103.7. We got some of the cast members from Scandal.
Oh, wow.
Kendra Robinson, Cornelius Smith, all of them coming up next here on Afternoon Jams.
Don't quit till you vote for Pitt.